The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. With more workers testing positive for COVID-19, the Labor Department has crafted guidelines for paid COVID-19 leaves among employees. Faith Del Mundo with a report.
Customer representative Carla has contracted COVID-19 twice. Despite being the breadwinner, she had to be absent for work during her quarantine. She had to undergo quarantine again when she was exposed to her COVID-positive office mate. Carla had no choice but to use her vacation and sick leave credits.
Wala talaga akong VL. Walang leave, walang SL, walang VL. So, as in, walang bayad. Kasi nga, bago ko sa company. And then, nung naman sa pangalawang nagkaroon ako ng COVID, since may mga like 2, parang most likely 5 credits. So, nagamit lahat yun. And the rest, no pay na talaga siya.
After being infected with the virus twice, she is now worried that she will contract it again as this will leave her without pay.
The 14 days, imagine mo buong cut-off. Wala kang pera, wala kang sahod. Diba? Imagine mo na lang, wala tayong pera. Wala kang magagawa kundi mangutang na lang. Para for the sake of the following week or sa mga susunod pa na araw para magkaroon ka ng food in your table, sa mga bills mo, upcoming bills or ganon. Especially sa diapers and sa milk ng bata.
Carla is just one of the employees who consume their leave benefits due to COVID. They are now appealing to have a COVID paid leave while under quarantine.
So kung nagkasakit ang lahat ng empleyado sa isang company, talagang mawawala kayo ng production. Sana yung magkaroon ng initiative yung both companies, government and private, na yung leave credits is i-roll over or dagdagan ng at least 5 to 10 days, especially na kapag nagkakaroon ng pagkakasakit or especially ngayong pandemic.
The Labor Department has prepared guidelines for COVID paid leave. This is on top of the mandated vacation and sick leave for workers.
Alam naman natin yan na kapag tayo po ay na-expose, kailangan po nating mag-isolate. At alam naman po natin yan na kapag tayo ay nag-positive sa COVID, kailangan po natin mag-quarantine. Pero sa karanasan natin nga nung nakaraang taon at nung nauna pa, 2020, kapag may isolation at may quarantine, ang polisiya po ay no work, no pay.
DOLE has yet to release the guidelines for paid leave for employees who will undergo isolation and quarantine. But the agency clarifies this is not mandatory since it is not yet a law.
Ito po ay advisory lamang. Ulitin ko po, ang purpose po ng isang labor advisory ay para makapagbigay guidance o linaw doon po sa mga hindi malinaw na mga specific labor issues and concern. Katulad po ng issues sa quarantine leave at isolation leave.
The agency is reminding employees who are infected with COVID to avail of SSS benefits and apply for cash assistance under the Employees Compensation Program. There are also hospital reimbursements and funeral benefits. For News 5, Faith Del Mundo, we are One News.
One teachers group welcomed the Department of Education's declaration allowing regional units to suspend classes due to COVID-19. Speaking to us here on One News earlier, Teachers Dignity Coalition Chairperson Ben Jubasa said that while they appreciate this announcement, they are still calling for health breaks to be incorporated in the academic calendar for the safety of both teachers and students.
Ngayong tumaas po yung cases ng COVID pagpasok ng January, nakita natin na hindi po sapat yung simpleng tawag dito yung semestral break na scheduled under the DepEd existing school calendar. We appreciate this declaration from the Department of Education.
Meanwhile, Basas added that those who are under remote learning methods must also be included in the proposed automatic suspension of classes in areas under Alert Level 3.
Ayun po, automatic. Pag tumaas sa Alert Level 3, wala pong face-to-face classes. Siguro mas ang issue dyan sa tanong ninyo ay kasama rin ba dito yung online at modular classes, no? So siguro that's the thing that we really qualify din, ano po.
The Education Department says they are looking at different ways to cover the days lost in health breaks imposed in various areas. In an interview with the chiefs, DepEd NCR Regional Director Wilfredo Cabral said that the agency cannot afford prolonged class suspensions as COVID-19 cases continue to surge. With this, they're eyeing to hold weekend makeup classes to cover the class suspensions due to the academic health break.
We're looking at the makeup classes in terms of remediation, enhancement that can also be done asynchronously, so that this will have no impact on the additional number of days on that, because the calendar will end by July of 2022, and with that, we can manage to find the number of days to be sufficient for the calendar.
Now, as cases continue to soar, wearing of face masks is the public's greatest shield against the virus. But what type of face mask should you wear? We have a Bloomberg reporter, Madison Mueller, breaking it down for us.
As COVID cases continue to surge all over the country, people are wondering, well, what mask should I be wearing? And what's the difference between these KN95 and N95 masks? Here's what you should know. In 2020 and 2021, the U.S. urged regular Americans to hold off on buying these KN95 and N95 masks in order to save them for healthcare workers on the front lines, because they are more effective. However, with Omicron, the game has changed, and the U.S. has upped their supply of the masks. And while the CDC stands by their original guidance that any mask is better than no mask, they are issuing new guidance on their website to better reflect the different mask options available so that Americans can make a more informed decision for themselves. But the most important thing about wearing a mask is you need to wear it right. Otherwise, it's not effective. It needs to be tight on your face and go over both your nose and your mouth. As Americans have become aware of how much more effective KN95 and N95 masks are, they've also seen a surge in price. One pack of 40 KN95 masks now costs $79.99, up from just $16.99 in late November. A pack of 50 N95 masks is going for $57.15, compared with $23.19 in early October. So you might be shelling out more from your wallet, but experts say these masks should be everyone's first choice in protecting themselves. And while that might not be financially accessible for some people, some local governments have taken the initiative to provide their constituents with the masks at no cost. So check around you and see what your options are.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. No less than a former Palace spokesperson, Harry Roque, is crying foul over the amendment to the Public Service Act, the very measure rather his former boss wanted to update as soon as possible. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez gives us a front seat to the story.
The proposed amendment to the Public Service Act is being called discriminatory by some politicians and businessmen. Former Palace spokesperson and senatorial aspirant Harry Roque, for one. Senate Bill 2094 bars state-owned enterprises from owning capital in critical industries. Roque says this clearly targets China, where most public services are state-run.
This is discriminatory to China, to People's Republic of China. We are supposedly liberalizing even the provision of public service, and yet here is an instance where we are expressly discriminating against foreign-owned enterprises.
The bill aims to open up the country to foreign investments in industries like airlines, telcos, and shipping. It actually doesn't mention China by name, but business leaders echoed Roque's sentiments.
We are concerned about the prevailing xenophobia. It targets China companies, especially China state-owned companies. We should not legislate xenophobia, and we should be watchful of these inserted provisions in our laws.
Lavinia also said the country has one of the most restrictive investment policies and appealed for equal opportunity to foreign investors. Roque called it unconstitutional.
If we're going to argue that the distribution of electricity is vested with national interest considerations, where is the threat? Chinese were allowed to enter the NGCP for quite a number of years already, and there is no proven threat to national security.
The bill, which has been certified as urgent by President Duterte, is being finalized by both houses in a bicameral meeting. Congress is targeting to pass the bill before the end of Duterte's term. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez, We Are One News.
Now, in show business, netizens are not happy with the exclusion of Kristen Stewart in the nomination for the Screen Actors Guild Awards. I'm Jim Marfori with the story. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later again at 1:30 in the afternoon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now, www.signalplay.com, and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.